All right, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back in to the ESA Siege Champion Series stream here. We've got just one match tonight. It's Slaughterhouse and Granny Frost going at it. The second game, I believe, was supposed to be Valkyrie and HNC, but HNC has disbanded, so no game for them tonight, which is a little sad, but that puts Valkyrie now at 2-0. Good job to them, I guess, leading the standings for the time being. As always, I am Cherish, and once again tonight, joined with me is the ever lovely CDAP. So, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty great. Always happy to step up from Contender Series up into Champions. Get to see a little bit high caliber Siege going on. Some best of the best in the ESA business. This is the top section. We're going to be able to feast our eyes on Granny Frost versus Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse is the old Lucky Reapers roster, so you could probably know a couple of them, such as Fate, Sergeant Taylor, that whole crew, as well as Granny Frost. They're a little bit more of a new kids on the block. They really kind of killed it during qualifiers. No really other way to put it. They're just kind of went off, and they also proved themselves last week by taking down Powerhouse. So I'm definitely excited to see how these two teams match up. But with that, I guess we can go ahead and go straight into the band, start talking about that. Granny Frost is going to take Theme Park off the board, not wanting to go to the new one, as Slaughterhouse responds back by dropping Consulate. Then the first map pick is going to be Granny Frost taking Cafe, followed by...
Slaughterhouse snagging Villa.
Yes. Then next to bite the bullet is going to be Coastline and Clubhouse. Both of those C's all gone, leaving just Oregon as our decider if we are to get to that point.
Yeah. So, like you had mentioned, both of these teams have won out last week. They're both 1-0. As you said, Granny Frost took a tight 2-1 over Powerhouse. I think it was they won 7-4, lost Villa 7-2, and then won Cafe 8-7. On the other side of things, Slaughterhouse dominated their matchup against Visionary. It was 7-3, 7-0 on Villa and Cafe, which we're going to be seeing here. Both teams did play Villa and Cafe. As like I just said, Slaughterhouse did really well on Cafe. I think that was the map that they 7-0'd on. And alternatively, Granny Frost went 8-7 on Cafe. So maybe Slaughterhouse did 7-0 starting on defense. So maybe they've got something up their sleeve here, or rather, maybe Granny Frost has something up their sleeve here, or Slaughterhouse is looking to just roll them as well this time.
Yeah, I know. I watched the Granny Frost game, so that game ended with a little bit of controversy, but we can just gloss straight over that because the scores still do count regardless. But what's more important to talk about, more of the pressing issue, is the ban phases are to begun. We're seeing a Thatcher and Monty ban, as Thatcher's really default. I don't think I've seen him in play all season so far in any of the divisions, as well as the Monty's probably a little bit of a target ban or just an overall sort of unwillingness to play against a good Monty player, as well as the Mira getting taken off is also pretty default. The way Mira can just completely reconstruct how you have to take certain rooms and how you have to push certain sites. It's just something kind of annoying to deal with. So not having her on the board makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I mean, Monty being gone is not obnoxious at all. Or rather, he is very obnoxious. It's a nice ban. He definitely does do well to push Wamai out of a lot of positions, as we're not going to see the highly rising play rate operator from I believe he's from Kenya. Yeah, so we'll be seeing Bar Cocktail first, as this will be an interesting lineup. Also, something to note, Mila is not in the lineup here from Slaughterhouse tonight. It will be instead Flacco, Mr. A. Flacco Seagulls, which is kind of a funny name that I find. But he will be on the Echo for round one. and rehost.
Yay!
Well,
Uh,
that's rough. But, I mean, oh, here we go.
Here
Yes, they're just killing each
comes
other. They're
here
just
comes
killing each
the
other.
slaughterhouse
So,
coming in as
Granny
everybody
does
dies
leave.
and
Make
leaves.
sure that Slaughterhouse doesn't leave because, well, you guys didn't see it because it's on our faces, but the chat said, Wonder be like, oh no, I forgot my skins, because that was that controversy that we talked about a little. It was a little bit of a Knicks moment last week, but away from
Yeah.
that, interesting through the ban phase that we're not going to see an Echo ban. I think a lot of teams have kind of stopped realizing that Echo is unbanned now. It's kind of new, obviously. It's just started about this week or so, but Echo is unbanned, and his drones, I'm pretty sure, are still invincible. That's at
Yeah, I
least
think
what I've
that
heard.
there are
I've
yeah,
heard that.
I've heard that as well. There's a couple of instances where they might be there, so hopefully we won't see the
I think
stars
for the
align
most
on that.
part, I think for the most part, it is definitely like a stars aligning type thing. That's why they unbanned him, because for the most part, we're good with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's tough to really talk about a lot just because we didn't even see a round come out. There was a castle being picked by the side of Slaughterhouse that was stuck, so that could prove to be interesting on the defense. But I mean, how do you, so just completely ignoring the what do you call it? Just like the stall meta in general, how do you feel about the resurgence of Castle coming back into the meta?
I think honestly it piggybacks on him having the shotgun. It's actually such a crucial piece of utility that really kind of goes under the radar. You don't realize how many shotguns you need, especially if you don't have somebody comfortable on such as one of the SAS operators, a smoke or a mute. But typically when you get to this level, there's some SMG 11 gunners always in the works. They're about a dime a dozen at this point. But having just that extra little bit of utility towards how teams like to attack nowadays, they like to be slow, methodical, keep on just droning out, gathering all the intel till their eventual final push. And just if teams do the same attack that they normally would, that they're used to, but there's a castle on the board, that's going to take about at least 15-ish seconds, and then your 20 seconds that you're prepared for it goes down to 5, and that's just simply not enough time to execute. As well as just how Castle has synergized so well with Jaeger and Goyo and
Mhm.
Wamai, protecting Maestro cams sort of indirectly by sponging up the sort of breaching round utility. It's nice to see. Unfortunately, we're not going to see Wamai being played on Cafe, who actually I think this is his best map. I think him a Wamai in the corner of Piano over towards Pixel is just a very, very powerful position because like Elysian, he just slowly regenerates more and more of those discs and can toss them out, keep on just buying time. And buying time is a very good thing to do if it's any defender, if you're on Roam, if you're on like a soft anchor, anything like that. Killing time and killing people is sort of all you need to do at the end of the day to win rounds.
Yep, I definitely agree. I think it's been very interesting to see what has commonly been denoted as Siege's worst operator being brought back into meta. Um, so we'll see or not worst operator, but like out of the non-troll ones like Chachanka and stuff, he's definitely not been very loved by the community just because everyone believes his gadget is too easily dealt with and doesn't do the most and this and that. But we'll get to see what Beamed has in his pocket. Looking for this one, as I believe with that shield on Sergeant Taylor here, they're going to opt into potentially the little sneaky setup that a lot of smokes opt for. Well, not really sneaky, but the obnoxious setup that a lot of players opt for, where you put the shield up in Cigar and you play up in there. Instead, he's going to put it in Pixel, interestingly, and not play up in here. So this is a very aggressive hold, though, already from Slaughterhouse. They've got a lot of open angles and just a lot of flexibility from their players and team and just figuring out where they want to go and everything. And on the other side of the board, especially with this Echo out, there is no IQ, which is very interesting, considering the way we saw Granny Frost play and the way we even see their lineup showing out with the Maverick, Ashe, Zofia all together. Beamed has jumped out already from the building and found the Nomad on the window. So that is a great start for Slaughterhouse, as I'm caught off from that. But yeah, considering how aggressive their lineup is, it's interesting no one's playing a G8.
Yeah, the GA is just an absolute heck of a weapon. It's an R4C essentially with an angled grip and 51 bullets. So
And an
why
ACOG.
wouldn't you take it? Yeah, it has an ACOG. We see a lot more people run the Hollow, however. But I do want to not gloss over the fact that with the Nomad being dead first on a map such as Cafe, where there's really high flank potential, there's only, I think, one Claymore potentially on the attacking side. So we could see the roam presence of Beamed just continue to rise into prominence, but the first action is going to come up as Mouse is able to take the head off of Keen, creeping up inside towards the couches, is able to fall the Pixel player as some more drone work is going in towards the white corridor, and just there's actually a lot of map control quite quickly coming out of Granny Frost, but Beamed is holding the nice angle towards the player that wants to peek over towards the new Balk area. Some pre-fires are going out to the top of heaven, but he doesn't quite realize that the player is down below.
So a minute remains. Mouse has been downed by the smoke of Sergeant Taylor, hanging out inside the freezer as someone else is looking for him, and he's going to take the head off of Stoll. Fate finds one, and downstairs, Beam finds his second. Sergeant Taylor had that downed player as well. 2 for him, 2 for Beamed, and 1 for Fate. Cleans up a very easy-looking round for Slaughterhouse. They are looking week by week more and more deadly on this map, and it's starting to feel like this is not a map you want to take Slaughterhouse to.
Yeah, the way Cafe is, we saw it become like a very, very defender-sided map, where it hasn't been unnormal to see 5-1s, maybe even 4-2 on the defensive split at the very least. But as the map has really been ingrained in the meta and teams are figuring out how to attack it, I would almost say it's like a 3-3-4-2 kind of map, not the 5-1-4-2 kind of map. But so far, Slaughterhouse has looked absolutely dominant on their defenses. So it's really just a testament to the amount of work and prep time that they put into this map. They've probably done countless scrims on it, and they're really feeling comfortable with this as their battlegrounds on all of the sites. So as we go down into Kitchen, it is going to be a little bit of a swing round. Typically, a team is either really, really strong on the basement of Kitchen or the top floor. It's sort of an either or. But ultimately, if you're good on the top floor, you're probably going to be strong on reading as well because of how those sites are stacked right on top of each other. So that's most likely what we're going to see after this round has concluded. We'll see a little bit of a resurgence back towards Reading Room. But what matters a little bit more now is the Kitchen attack with a really nice horizontal roam coming out so far out of Slaughter. They're not opting to go for the traditional top-down roam, send your roamers up to the 3rd floor and try to get some kills. They're just spreading out and taking control of the entire 1st floor. They're going to make it very, very difficult for Granny Frost to get any map control towards site.
Yeah, things are looking a bit rough. This has become more of a common strategy from some teams. I don't think it's really seen full widespread use yet, but still it is starting to crop up where you play a shield in VIP, you keep part of the freezer open, at least for feet holes, if not just a full rotate. You reinforce the freezer as a result, or the garage door as a result, and This is all because no one's really taking the freezer. They realize a full freezer take doesn't afford you all that much when you can also just get the hatch for the same effect. You don't really lock off much of the site when you take the freezer as much as you do if you take the bakery side. And because bakery is so tightly contested already, it really helps to hotly contest this side area so that they can't rotate into coat check and the hallways near there. So we'll be seeing Flacco and Fate here holding down the fort. A nice shotgun hole through the bar as Rogley is going to start to punish Fate, push him out. One of the Goyo shields has gone down as Flacco is going to find Mouse for the opening frag. Keen also picks up one on a Rogley as he's looking up for the Zofia, or it's Flacco looking for the Zofia. Keen had already found that frag. And with a minute to go, things are looking really good for Slaughterhouse.
Except right there, Keen does find himself being refragged out by the hands of Stoll. Those jackal tracks were projecting his entire location as the vertical control is going in towards the dining room. It's going to cause a little bit of damage onto the side of Trix. The smoke canisters are going to go down for bottom white. If it's Sergeant Taylor's going to be able to pick up a kill onto Wonder, that's your Maverick gone. Stoll's going to pick up another kill, but be refragged out in quick succession by the SMG-11 of Fate, leaving it all up to Trix in a 1v3 situation, but it's not going to go for much longer as Sergeant Taylor picks his head off, and Slaughterhouse takes round 2.
Yeah, and to be fair, on one hand, it is looking, it is 2 rounds in, and these are the 2 stronger sites on the map, but Slaughterhouse has not dropped the ball. They have picked up 2 opening frags very handily, and once they got the ball rolling, they didn't really drop it. I think they only lost Keen upstairs on the roam, and they had a very fast refrag on the second, I think it was Flacco going down. So they're doing great work here very quickly as we're kind of seeing a punishment of teams that play the way that Granny Frost does. A lot of teams, this type of play style started when Hibana was introduced. Hibana was introduced as a less hard breach focused, more frag focused hard breacher compared to Thermite. And when Maverick was introduced, he was like a 1-up of Hibana. And now, especially that the Thatcher ban has really come about, we're starting to see a resurgence of the old argument of, are you a Hibana team? Are you a Thermite team? Do you play more slow and go for the big breaches, or do you have a hard breacher who can frag as well as just, work through smaller breaches, and you guys look for more gunfights and just use breaches to supplement versus the using the breaches to start your attacks. But that's the thing with Maverick, is that especially in some scenarios, he's able to not just supplement his team's attack, but he's able to create those massive breaches through the Maverick tricking. And we're starting to see more teams opt into heavy fragging lineups with Maverick as their sole hard breacher because of this. But they do really struggle. It takes time on those attacks, and they do sometimes really struggle here on certain maps to get a lot of breach potential and a lot of attacking power going. And because of that, there was no possibility really of Granny Frost attacking the front bakery side, especially even ignoring the back bakery side. Things are just very, very rough looking for them right now because of the way the combination of how Slaughterhouse is holding alongside them just having the 1 hard breach.
Yeah, being able to supplement into 2 hard breachers, I think, is going to rise into prominence even more once the introduction of Ace is fully integrated into the metas. But the top-down control is going to start going as Beam gets caught on his scanner. He's going to get put into the down but not out state by that fragging hard breacher of a Wonder. But Stoll's going to be able to pick up a kill right before he's refragged out by the all-powerful Alda of Flacco down below. However, Trix has taken that G8 that we glossed over just a little bit earlier, and he has snuck his way inside a train, but Rogley's going to accidentally take himself out with a nade. Very unfortunate F in chats for that. The smoke canisters are trying to hold back this unrelenting Granny Frost attack so far, and we see a nice little bit of stalemate here, but Sergeant Taylor's going to break that as he takes out Mouse with the headshot of the SMG-11, leaving it in a 4v2 situation. Mark that. That's a 4v1, all up to Trix once again, as Fate is on a mission. The SMG-11 brothers upstairs are just too much to take, as well as the trade coming out between Keen and Trix is going to end the round. That's going to end the first half of the first half, and that's going to mark the end of the perfect site rotation for Slaughterhouse.
First half of the first half. Like you said, those first 3 rounds are down. Perfect for Slaughterhouse. Again, they are looking really solid. And a big point of that round was refrags. Beamed was down and taken out by Stole. He was downed by Wonder and finished by Stole, at which point they really worked forward there. Or it was Slaughterhouse to work forward and find a second frag, as Wonder is going to 6 off the Hibana to a buck. So no hard breach at all, which could pose a very interesting question here of what attack does Granny Frost want to opt into? And I think they're going to outright force their way into sight here through Cocktail, try and take out the pixel player of Keen. The big point that worked out pretty well last round, or the last time we saw Bar Cocktail, round 1, was Keen was forced forward onto his shield thanks to a Capital Firebolt. We're not seeing the Capital this time, and Wonder has opted into nades. So we have 2 sets of breach charges, 2 sets of flash grenades, and a claymore from Wonder. So this is definitely very interesting on the attacking side. They, especially considering, well, at least they have the Zofia and the Ashe. But regardless, we'll have to see what they want to opt into here, as Flacco is off of Echo duty, and now he's trying to help out a bit more. A Nitro from Fate is definitely very thoughtful, but not gonna gather much. And we'll have to see. It looks like most likely they're gonna be some Cocktail presence. Stole is starting to drone out the white stairs, which could lead into him alongside maybe Wonder going down through white. So we'll have to see that, because white is a very strong position, especially for the attackers.
Yeah, but the Buck is going to be making sure that there's no safe spots over towards the A bomb site to sit behind all of those big brown wooden barricades here, as well as Freezer's going to feel a little bit of heat, as I believe that's the smoke is forced to retreat back into the safer non-soft area there. He feels like he's trapped at the hands of the Canadian, but actually is able to rotate out before he's fully trapped. Sergeant Taylor has made his way down to the bottom of white, where the way that the attackers have set up, it is pretty evident that they want to push this east side of the map. They're going to have some window pressure. They're going to have some white pressure, and they're just bypassing Cigar and Piano entirely because of the strength the Slaughterhouse showed on that defense last time around. I always love seeing adjustments come out of teams, as they really are trying to struggle and find what works, but the wallbangs are almost going to come out as Beamed is just tapping away with that UMP, but will not find and connect onto any of those heads. However, it's going to be Stole to take out the first kill onto Beamed as the castle falls, but Fate will take out roughly, or Rogley, whatever, at the beginning of it. But Flacco's also going to toss his hat in, picking up 1 as Fate picks up a second. However, he's going to be refragged out at the hands of Stole as the Ashe continues the pain train, but at a 2v3 disadvantage. It's not really in the best position so far, especially when Sergeant Taylor's going to swing out and drop down the Ashe, leaving it all up to Mouse with the diffuser on the window. Rappel, he's going to try to flash himself in and start to get a little bit aggressive, but he's going to be found by the pre-fire of Keen as Slaughterhouse takes a round again, starts the game off at a scoreline of 4-0, looking very powerful indeed.
So again, the refrag potential from this Slaughterhouse side did massive work for them. They were able to really clean up downstairs, even though Beamed was felled once again first by Stole. Things worked out for Slaughterhouse because right behind him was his teammates of Fate and Sergeant Taylor. Those SMG-11s doing huge work downstairs, specifically Fate with that nice double kill for himself. Once again, this time we're going to see the Hibana, which fares a bit better for Wonder and his team to try and snag around for themselves. But regardless, we're going to have to see how they want to opt into this very aggressive Slaughterhouse, very wide Slaughterhouse defense. Sergeant Taylor is 6-0, Fate's on 5-1. Very solid showing from the two of them. On the other side of things, Stole is 5-4, and nothing against his teammates, but that's the only thing of mention. There's two players that combined for 2 frags, or rather all 4 combined for 2 frags, because there are 2 donuts on that side of things. So we'll have to see if Granny Frost can really pick it up in these coming rounds, or if it's just going to be the Stole show for them. But we'll have to see on that one, as it's been very calculated aggression from Slaughterhouse. They're not, blindly sprinting into things. They're playing off their cameras where they can, the Valkyrie cams or the Echo drones in the earlier rounds. They're playing off those cameras when they can, and they're really working off of one another and working off the info that all of them gain. This is a very interesting shield setup just because it's a double shield. Ooh, excuse me, back here by White and VIP. But now we'll see. I think maybe a front side take actually this time through, as more feet holes are present, just causing Granny Frost to be ever so cautious. They are in such a rough spot for themselves just because of that. And I mean, it's slow going on their attacks because of how much there is that they have to unpack from this Slaughterhouse defense.
Yeah, there's just a lot of pressure going towards all of these big rooms that you need to take control over, and Granny Frost doesn't seem to have a priority yet onto where they want to go. They're trying to pressure out this Jaeger of Keen back behind the small bakery counter, but as soon as they try to jump in towards a wedding, they're going to be met with a rain of bullets coming out of Flacco, as there's just so many angles opened up. But Trix is actually going to be able to take out Keen at the hands of an upside down rappel. Really nice shot, as well as trying to tag up Sergeant Taylor with that the vector that he wields in his hands. He's going to get hit with a bit of the timing, as the Ash could have taken out the Goyo. But overall, the top floor control is into the hands of Granny Frost, and they seem to have a little bit more life in this attack so far. They're starting to just put in more pressure towards a bakery and prep areas, trying to push into that A bomb site. They still have the hard breach of Wonder in to attempt a sort of traditional entryway into sight, but Trix is going to get another kill onto Flacco, taking off the Maestro. Very good pick indeed, as the rest of his team is trying to rally behind that entry. But Beamed will also fall at the hands of Stole as he continues his fragging going on, and it's all up to Fate and Sergeant Taylor in a 5v2.
Interesting. Fate on the smoke is on the roam, as good drone work is coming out from the attacking side. Trix is going to find one. No, it's Stole right next to him. Fate from above is at least going to pick off Mouse, the upstairs player. I believe that was the Nomad, yeah. As almost, no, not able to hit the quick headshot. Rogli is going to find Granny Frost first round, as they focused much more on a more traditional take, focusing and fully destroying upstairs before working their way down. And because of that, they have picked up round number 5, number 1 for themselves. Reading Fireplace is opted into next here by Slaughterhouse, as things are going really well for them here on the defense, but obviously they would have liked the 5-0. So we'll have to see what they want to opt into here coming into this sixth round, and then looking ahead to their attacking half.
That was, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the first round that Slaughterhouse has dropped on Cafe, correct?
Yes, they
Yeah.
are 11-1 now on rounds.
Well, put that one in the books. That's a monumental. That's a milestone coming out of Granny Frost as the first team to take a round off Slaughterhouse on Cafe. This is their map pick after all, so we'd expect them to be very comfortable on it. But as it's sort of gone through, it's looking like it's the Slaughterhouse show so far. But all of that could change if Granny Frost is going to be successful on this next attack. That would make a sort of a 5-1 lead compared to a 4-2 lead is a monumental difference because you go from sort of the expected script narrative towards the, oh no, Slaughterhouse has the definitive advantage going in. They're starting to put a lot more pressure, and Granny Frost would feel their backs against the wall. But all of that could change on this round right before the half switch. The Pulse of Beamed is going to be sitting in, starting to bring out his cardiac sensor before feeling a little bit of pressure from Trix, breaking open that excavation window. But the rest of the repels are going to go up, and it's going to have to be a traditional top-down roam clear coming from Granny Frost because they're going to need to piggyback their attack off of the vertical control that they're going to try to change. It fell apart last time at the hands of Fate and Sergeant Taylor, just picking up an absolute onslaught of frags. That's actually a really nice angle coming out of Fate. He's all the way down in Reading Room, but he can see the skylight, and I think I would be very, very upset if I peeked skylight and died through 2 floors of difference.
Yeah, without a doubt, it would be definitely a bit tilting to have that happen. So the rest of the upstairs attack is going to work, but 1 floor of difference at least comes through. Flacco finds Stoll looking up, as that is the first opening frag in 4 rounds here for Slaughterhouse. They're doing work, though, so far. They're wasting a lot of time, and Granny Frost does not have all that much control taken here. So we're going to see what they want to do with this last minute and a half. The base cam is being struggled with here as Wonder has dropped himself back to the Maverick, preferring those frag grenades. And we'll see the 5v4 now really working in the favor of Granny Frost. They're playing very slowly, sorry, it's working in the favor of Slaughterhouse, as Slaughterhouse is getting to play very slowly alongside Granny Frost. Similarly, a Nitro might speed things up as Fate finds Mouse, as pre-fires are coming down from below. Things are looking really rough for the Maverick and co, as at least Rogley's going to find Fate, but on the roam, Keen, very aggressive here. They don't know where the Jaeger is. He's made his way into bathroom as he lurks there. The rest of his team has rotated out of the top floor at a good timing and good pace. Rogley is going to be found. He's got his rifle in hand, and he's right in front of Keen. Keen finds that frag, looking for more. He's not going to pre-fire Wonder perfectly, as he's going to fall thanks to the Maverick not returning any damage. Trix is down to 25 health himself. Wonder's on full, but they have only 15 seconds to go against a smoke, a Maestro, and that Pulse. Here comes the Alda, but no. It is the UMP and then the Maestro. 1 and 2 back-to-back. Closing out round 6, confirming a fifth round for Slaughterhouse, and things are looking very up for them as they head into this attack.
Yeah, the scoreline of 5-1, you have to think, oh, Slaughterhouse could definitely run away with this, but I never count out teams as I've seen too many comebacks in my short career as a caster, especially on a map that's looking to be very defender-sided with how teams are playing. Haven't quite gotten to see what Slaughterhouse is going to bring on the table, besides just a quick look at their operator lineup being very, very frag-heavy, whole lot of speed coming out, a whole lot of power and precision with those weapons. But just as easily as Slaughterhouse had the 5-1 split, Granny Frost could go on a tear on their defense if they're to catch fire and start getting confidence.
So we'll see how they want to opt into this defense where things will go. It's very risky, I think. As, well, sorry, I don't know what I was saying there for a second. So, they're not going to be running a shield here. No, they are actually with the alibi, interestingly enough. This is something we saw from other teams last week, opting into an alibi over the Maverick. Or not the Maverick. Wow, I don't know what. Because I'm looking at both teams. I am so jumbled. My phone bugged out for a second and wasn't like responding to anything, so I was focused on that for like the operator switch and the pick and stuff, and now I'm just like confusing myself. So we saw last week a lot of alibi play in place of the Wamai when it was banned before on this map. It was the last time that we saw Granny Frost, because Granny Frost really likes to bring alibi when Wamai is banned. Nitro's going to miss out from Stole, interestingly enough, as he went for that one. And we may see Fate try and do some work here under the same way that Granny Frost tried, but we'll have to look for that so far.
Yeah, and the pressure coming out towards Piano was definitely going to be felt by the players sitting and waiting in below over towards that pixel corner. We see Flacco just scanning away and seeing, oh no, there's that sort of Z shape. That means that they have an alibi on the board, so make sure not to shoot those Prismas. But Trix is going to get this fragging, starting with a beautiful shot onto Sergeant Taylor from that aforementioned pixel corner, using that shield, those little slits in the side, that bulletproof glass, to go as Rogley's going to take another kill onto Beam, swinging out towards the red balcony drop. But he's going to get a little bit over-aggressive. He's going to fly too close to the sun, and Keen is going to punish that over-aggression on that operator by taking him out swiftly. But at this point, Slaughterhouse doesn't have a whole lot of map control with half the round gone. They don't have that many. They don't have feet to stand on so far, and they need to get rid of this Jaeger of Trix sitting over towards the pixel corner. They're going to have to burn away the utility, but the Zofia is gone. And right now, so is the Buck, as Trick picks up his second kill of the round, leaving it all up to Keen and Flacco, as Keen takes about half of his HP. More shots are just traded back and forth towards the entrance of Piano, and Cigar Mouse is going to take out Keen, leaving it all up to Flacco. That G8 does do work, but is it going to be enough to take out the shotgun? No, it's not. Stole steals the round for Granny Frost.
I think stealing the round is definitely a bit of a stretch. They were very solidly controlled.
I wanted the pun.
Okay, you know what? I'll take it. I'll respect it. The pun was good. We'll be seeing. There was a lot of aggression on that defense, and I don't think Slaughterhouse was really expecting that. I definitely was not. So we'll get to see where they want to attack and how they want to attack this upcoming reading fireplace defense. It is definitely what has been, it's been talked about that sites like this and Siege in general are some of the strongest in the game at the current moment with the stall meta, specifically the Jaeger Wamai meta. And when I say sites like this, I mean reading fireplace, dining kitchen, maps like that, where you can play the site upstairs and then rotate back to them and play back off the site itself. You can hold, so the dining kitchen, you can, on Villa, you can hold it like you hold Trophy Statue and then fall back. Obviously, as you're seeing the entire setup here, similarly to Bar Cocktail, obviously a good bit different because there's some walls that you're reinforcing here that you normally wouldn't on Bar Cocktail, but it is still very similar to Bar Cocktail defenses. But this is just the general way that the sites are played out, and that's why they're so successful, because while being very hard to do, that it takes a lot to be able to mentally know when to, rotate back to your normal site. It still is, you're holding another site upstairs, and then if you lose Cocktail, then it's fine. You rotate back with your team. At best, you're at a 4v4, hopefully, and you still have this site to for the enemy team to attack with very little time left. So it's a very big, annoying time waster. And because of that, that's why a lot of teams will have started to play over here more often. That's why we're seeing Granny Frost put so much presence upstairs, and hopefully they'll be able to stall out Slaughterhouse here.
Yeah, I think Reaper, you're building off the Reaper principle that he discussed here. That's a very, very good ideology to think of how to break down these maps. But Slaughterhouse is going to be putting the pressure towards Freezer as the bandit batteries got removed from the window at the keen eye of Flacco's IQ scanner. And that is going to essentially cut the upstairs in half, really separate Trix from the rest of his teammates. But Stoll is going to be growing the pair here, swinging out and taking out the Hibana in Freezer from her own holes, finishing off with the shotgun. Trix also gets a kill, a beautiful headshot onto Sergeant Taylor with that 416C carbine. And it's looking like Slaughterhouse is going to start stalling out just a little bit. That Freezer is where the diffuser is. Flacco's going to be able to answer back, take out Mouse, but not before Fate is the answer back from Trix. Beamed is also going to be taking damage from a whole lot of different places, not really knowing where those bullets are coming from. And he's going to be swung by the castle, but another refrag comes in as Trix picks up his third kill of the round, leaving it all up to Flacco in a 1v3.
Yep. I thought he was going to die there, so I kind of just was going to let the round play out on its own. But Flacco is looking to do some work where he can here. He's not going to find the Jaeger just yet. The G8 rattling away. Very fun weapon. Very balanced weapon. As he's got 30 seconds to go, he's going to push the Jaeger here. Not going to find any damage. Trix is just playing with him as there's shots coming in from downstairs. As Rogley just dodges out. And there it is. Trix finishes things off. The lead is cut from 5-2. Or no, 5-1 to 5-3. So Granny Frost is starting to make a comeback here on this defensive side for themselves. They're not giving up the map without a fight, as it seems like Slaughterhouse is definitely caught reeling a little bit. They're not really attacking all that solidly, it seems, and they're definitely playing a bit slow. And because of that, the aggression, the timed aggression rather, from Granny Frost is working out very well in their favor.
Yeah, just there hasn't been a whole lot of answer back from Slaughterhouse, but fortunately for them, they do have that little bit of a round buffer to start feeling out how Granny Frost does want to defend. So on the back half of the map rotation, or the site rotation, pardon me, we could see a little bit of adjustments coming out in sort of an answer back to the roam presence and power that we've seen Granny Frost employing. Trix has really found a little bit of life in him. He's gotten quite a few kills on the Jaeger so far on his soft roam. So trying to continue that forward, there's going to be reinforcements going up in the very traditional spots, as well as a coat check setup coming out of Stoll, but he's going to be going back inside, probably trying to make either some rotations or just continue planting away those mute jammers, making it more and more difficult for the Slaughterhouse attackers to effectively gain drone intel.
So, from here, Trix really has woken up, like you said. It's looking very good for Granny Frost. Granted, the rest of their team should too, but there with that, Rogley is going to find a spawn peak at least. Going to get the buck as he was trying to rappel upstairs. So that's basically all of the upstairs soft breaching abilities from the side of Granny Frost, or not Granny Frost, Slaughterhouse. Now Rogley is going to find beamed elsewhere. He jumped out of a different window and found the Maverick. So this is bound to be very frustrating for the attacking team, as we're already looking potentially at a 5v4 round unless Keen, Sergeant Taylor, and Flacco can do the most here. They do have 2 minutes left, but not the most utility, and obviously they're at a very big man count disadvantage.
Yeah, on the side of Granny Frost, they just need to stay patient and not overextend. They can just set up effective trades, and if Slaughterhouse just throws themselves into sight, setting up those crossfires will lead to almost certain victory, bar some heroics coming out of Keen, Sergeant Taylor, and Flacco. But The pressure is going to start coming out from the bottom of the white staircase, as Keen is also getting a nice crossfire towards Whiskey Brown Stairs area. Some drone work is going to make sure that there's nobody in that VIP area next to the Christmas tree, as Keen is going to try to go downstairs and start rejoining with his team. He's actually going to go ahead and breach towards the back of Freezer, offering a potential hatch drop scenario as a last-ditch effort to get into sight if the rest of the attack doesn't pan out towards the double door, as well as probably going to start breaching towards this area as well. Flacco is going to take out Stolb. Trix also takes out Keen, as he just is continuing his fragging more and more, hitting that double-digit mark and dropping the diffuser onto the ground. But Sergeant Taylor's going to pick up one. He's going to pick up two. He's going to pick up threes. He's going absolutely crazy inside sight as it goes from the 4v1 or the 4v2 to a 1v2 situation in the blink of an eye. Flacco's going to come in to help out his teammate, and Slaughterhouse takes that round out of the jaws of defeat in glorious fashion off the absolute aggression and precision of Sergeant Taylor, dropping the hatch inside of Freezer.
So, literally the moment I started, the way I keep my notes is I will write down, well, not write down, I'll write the number of the round on a side of whoever got the opening pick, and if they win the round, I circle it. So I see 2 versus 4, and I'm like, okay, 2 versus 4, about a minute or so left, just under rather. I'm going to start to circle 9 for Granny Frost. At that moment, Sergeant Taylor dropped and found 3 kills in the span of 4 seconds. And I think that was his sign of telling me to shut up. 6-3 now, as we head back to Bar Cocktail. We've at least secured an OT for Slaughterhouse, but their attacks are still looking a little rough around the edges. They're getting solid starts, but all things considered, it is very rough going for them because obviously, I mean, well, other than last round, they were getting good starts, it seems like, and good map control, but we're not really, seeing them capitalize off it, and after that, they are losing bodies left and right. So, we're headed now back to Bar Cocktail. Hopefully, they'll be able to get something done. And from here, very interestingly, I think this, depending on how the aggression works from Granny Frost, you can really post someone up on the top red hatch, clear out Cigar, control Cigar, and you can push in and plant default. There's one Nitro, yeah, right there. There's one Nitro. There is nothing, there's a reinforcement looking Pixel. So the Pixel Defender can't stop the plant in default. It's a huge, those 2 reinforcements are a huge miss site from Granny Frost, and it's insane to me that Slaughterhouse is not capitalizing on it more and taking outright control, especially considering everyone from Granny Frost is upstairs still. Nice glitch. Year 5 game, where you can see a backpack jutting out through a radiator, and Wonder is jumping out onto Keen.
Well,
oh, is he gonna get refragged? Yep. At least that's there.
Yeah, a 1-for-1 trade, but the Kaid already placed his utility, and taking out the hard breacher of Keen is probably something that Granny Frost is like, yes, that's exactly what we wanted. You love to see it. Just as the bottom floor control is going in, Fate is a man on a mission trying to find the location of Mouse on the Maestro over towards that heaven area. There's going to be some more drone work going in as everybody's going to be watching their flanks, making sure that nobody creeps down those white stairs. But there's 2 players trying to counter out the vertical control from down below the Slaughterhouse is employing. But Sergeant Taylor's going to take out and finally finish off the Maestro as Beams drops in onto the new hatch. Trix is going to read into that, take him out with that MX4 Storm. Bullets straight to the head. But At a man count advantage here, I would say the health pool is in favor of Granny Frost because Fate is about on 24, 23-ish HP. A little bit of an approximation coming out. He's about 1 or 2 shot from a lot of different weapons in the game, but he still can cause some damage, especially from below with that Master Key shotgun. Sergeant Taylor's going to take the man advantage back into the favor of Slaughterhouse by dropping off Stole. That's an SMG-11. That's a Nitro Cell off the board. Could be huge, especially for a late round plant denial. None of that's going to happen anymore. It's going to have to be on the traditional gunplay, such as Trix picking up his second kill, finishing off Fate, trying to creep up the white staircase. But Sergeant Taylor's going to swing straight in, pick up his third kill of the round, and leave it all up to Rogley and a 1v2 clutch potential. Both of these players have taken a good bit of damage, and a good bit of damage is what that 416C carbine of Jaeger does do. But the crossfire is nice coming out of here, but Flacco over aggresses, and it's all up here, but Sergeant Taylor's going to get his 4th kill of the round. 4K back-to-back. Slaughterhouse takes Cafe.
Oh my god, off heroics from Sergeant Taylor. 8 frags in 2 rounds. Double 4K for the man. Or no, 7 frags, my bad. He got 3K last round and 4 on Bar Cocktail. Sergeant Taylor doing work. He picks up over half his frags. 13 and 3. The only 3 rounds he died in was the 1 loss on the defense and the 2 lost attacks. So every single round that Granny Frost wins, Sergeant Taylor is still alive and kicking and doing work. So with that, Granny Frost's map is taken away by Slaughterhouse 7-3. And we'll be heading into Slaughterhouse's map pick of Villa after a short break, seeing if they can snag the 2-0 or if we'll be seeing Oregon as well tonight.